Hello everyone, my name is Adaugo and you're watching the African Tales channel by Adaugo. Before we dive into today's video, please kindly click on that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you will be notified whenever I upload a new video. Now let's get into the story. Juliet was a young, beautiful Nigerian girl living in Lekki, a beautiful part of Lagos. Her beauty was stunning, as dazzling as Joey's wife, Janet. Joe and Janet had a nice home and seemed happy together. Janet and Juliet were best friends, always laughing and sharing secrets. They did everything together, from shopping to cooking to going to parties. But Joe couldn't stop looking at Juliet. Her smile, her laugh, everything about her pulled him in. Even though he loved Janet, his feelings for Juliet were strong and confusing. He knew it was wrong, but he couldn't help himself. Joe started buying Juliet expensive gifts. He gave her a gold wristwatch, an iPhone 15 Pro Max, and many other costly items. Juliet felt special and flattered by Joey's attention, but she also felt guilty because of her friendship with Janet. One sunny afternoon, while Janet was at work, Joe invited Juliet to his house. She was nervous but curious about what Joe wanted to say. When she arrived, Joe welcomed her with a big smile. "Juliet, I am so happy you came," Joe said, leading her to the living room. "I need to talk to you." Juliet sat down, her heart beating fast. "What is it, Joe?" Joe took a deep breath. "Juliet, I have feelings for you. I can't stop thinking about you. I know it's wrong because of Janet, but I can't help it." Juliet looked shocked. "Joe, we can't do this. Janet is my best friend. She trusts both of us." Joe moved closer, his eyes pleading. "I know, Juliet, but my feelings are real. I have never felt like this before. Please give me a chance." Juliet felt torn. She cared for Joe, but the thought of betraying Janet hurt her. "Joe, this is so wrong. What if Janet finds out?" Joe shook his head. "She won't. We can be careful. Please, Juliet, I need you." Juliet looked into Joe's eyes and saw how serious he was. She nodded slowly. "Okay, Joe, but we have to be very careful." From that day on, Joe and Juliet started their secret affair. Joe would shower Juliet with gifts and attention, making her feel special. They met in secret places, away from prying eyes. At home, Joe pretended to be the loving husband to Janet, but inside, he was filled with guilt. One evening, Janet invited Juliet over for dinner. Joe felt nervous, but he tried to act normal. As they sat around the table, Joe couldn't help but steal glances at Juliet. Janet noticed something strange but didn't say anything. After dinner, Janet suggested they watch a movie. Joe and Juliet sat on the couch while Janet sat on the floor, leaning against Joe's legs. Joe felt a pang of guilt as he looked at his wife, who trusted him completely. As the movie played, Joe's phone buzzed with a message. He glanced at it and saw it was from Juliet. She had sent a heart emoji. Joe's heart raced, but he quickly put his phone away, hoping Janet didn't notice. Days turned into weeks, and Joe's feelings for Juliet grew stronger. He felt alive when he was with her, but the guilt was eating him up. He knew he couldn't keep this up forever, but he didn't know how to stop. One afternoon, while Janet was at work, Joe invited Juliet to a fancy hotel. He had booked a special suite and filled it with flowers and candles. Juliet was amazed by the effort Joe had put into making the place look romantic. "Joe, this is beautiful," Juliet said, looking around. Joe smiled. "Anything for you, Juliet. You deserve the best." They spent the afternoon together, but as the sun began to set, Juliet felt a deep sense of guilt. "Joe, we can't keep doing this. It's not fair to Janet." Joe sighed. "I know, Juliet, but I can't let you go. I need you in my life." Juliet looked down, her heart heavy. "We have to find a way to end this. It's too risky." Just then, Joe's phone rang. It was Janet. He quickly answered, trying to sound normal. "Hi, Janet, what's up?" Janet's voice sounded excited. "Joe, I have great news. I got a promotion at work. I am coming home early to celebrate." Joe's heart sank. "That's wonderful, Janet. I'll see you soon." He hung up and turned to Juliet. "We need to leave now. Janet is coming home early." They quickly gathered their things and left the hotel, feeling the weight of their secret affair. As they drove home, Joe's mind was racing. He knew they couldn't keep this up much longer without getting caught. When they arrived, Joe kissed Juliet goodbye and went inside to greet Janet. He put on his best smile and hugged her tightly. "Congratulations, Janet. I am so proud of you." Janet smiled, but there was a hint of suspicion in her eyes. "Thanks, Joe. Is everything okay?" Joe nodded, trying to hide his nerves. "Of course, everything is perfect." But deep down, Joe knew that their secret was hanging by a thread. The guilt and fear of being caught were becoming too much to bear. He had to find a way to end the affair or risk losing everything. As the days passed, Joe and Juliet continued to meet in secret, but the tension was growing. They both knew they were playing a dangerous game, and it was only a matter of time before everything fell apart. The suspense of their secret affair weighed heavily on their hearts, and they couldn't escape the feeling that their world was about to change forever. Joe and Juliet's secret affair continued, but the weight of their guilt grew heavier each day. Joe tried his best to act normal around Janet, but the constant worry of being caught was taking its toll on him. Juliet too was feeling the strain. She loved spending time with Joe, but the thought of hurting her best friend was unbearable. One Friday evening, Janet invited Juliet and a few other friends over for a small party to celebrate their promotion. Joe felt a knot in his stomach as the guests arrived. He knew he had to be on his best behavior to avoid suspicion. The party was lively, with music playing and laughter filling the air. Joe tried to relax and enjoy the evening, but he couldn't help but feel tense every time he looked at Juliet. She was wearing a beautiful red dress that made her stand out, and Joe found it hard to take his eyes off her. As the night went on, Janet noticed Joe's distracted behavior. She decided to talk to him about it after the party. Meanwhile, Juliet tried to avoid Joe's gaze, feeling the guilt and tension between them. When the party ended, the guests started to leave. Janet walked over to Joe and took his hand. "Joe, can we talk?" Joe nodded, his heart pounding. "Sure, Janet, what's on your mind?" They went to the living room and Janet sat down on the couch, looking at Joe with concern. Joe, you've been acting strange lately. Is everything okay? Joe took a deep breath, trying to calm himself. Everything is fine, Janet. I've just been stressed with work. Janet frowned. I don't think it's just work, Joe. You've been distant and distracted. Please tell me what's going on. Joe felt a lump in his throat. He knew he couldn't keep lying to Janet, but he was terrified of losing her. Janet, I am sorry if I've been distant. There is something I need to tell you. Janet's eyes widened with worry. What is it, Joe? Before Joe could answer, Juliet walked into the room. She saw the worried look on Janet's face and knew something was wrong. Is everything okay? Janet turned to Juliet, her eyes filled with confusion and hurt. Juliet, Joe says there is something he needs to tell me. Do you know anything about this? Juliet felt a chill run down her spine. She glanced at Joe, who looked pale and scared. Janet, I think you should listen to Joe. Joe took a deep breath, feeling the weight of his guilt. Janet, I've made a terrible mistake. I've been seeing someone else. Janet's face turned pale. She looked at Joe, then at Juliet, and back at Joe. Who? Who have you been seeing? Joe's voice trembled. Juliet. Janet's eyes filled with tears as she stared at her best friend. Juliet, how could you? You were supposed to be my friend. Juliet's voice broke. Janet, I am so sorry. It just happened. I never wanted to hurt you. Janet stood up, her hands shaking. I trusted both of you. How could you betray me like this? Joe tried to reach out to her. Janet, please. I love you. I made a mistake, but I want to fix this. Janet shook her head, tears streaming down her face. I need some time to think. I can't deal with this right now. She turned and ran out of the room, leaving Joe and Juliet standing there, filled with the regret and shame. Joe knew he had hurt the person he loved most, and he didn't know if he could ever make it right. The next few days were a blur of emotions for Janet. She stayed with her sister, trying to process everything. Joe called and texted, begging for forgiveness, but Janet couldn't bring herself to respond. She felt betrayed and heartbroken, unsure of what to do next. Juliet too was filled with regret. She tried to reach out to Janet, but her calls went unanswered. She knew she had lost her best friend and felt the deep pain of her actions. One evening, Janet decided to return home to talk to Joe. She needed to understand why he had done this and whether there was any hope for their future. When she walked into the house, she found Joe sitting on the couch, looking lost and broken. Joe, Janet said softly, her voice trembling. Joe looked up, his eyes filled with pain. Janet, I am so sorry. I know I've hurt you, and I can't forgive myself for what I've done. Janet sat down across from him, taking a deep breath. Joe, I need to know why. Why did you do it? Joe wiped a tear from his eye. I don't know, Janet. I was drawn to Juliet, and I couldn't control my feelings, but it was a mistake and I regret it every day. Janet looked at him, her heart heavy. Joe, I love you, but I don't know if I can ever trust you again. Joe reached out and took her hand. Janet, I will do whatever it takes to earn back your trust. I love you more than anything and I don't want to lose you. Janet sighed, feeling the weight of her emotions. It's going to take time, Joe. We have a lot to walk through. Joe nodded, his grip on her hand tightening. I know, and I am willing to do whatever it takes. As they sat there holding hands, they knew the road ahead would be difficult, but they were both committed to trying, to finding a way back to each other. The journey to rebuild their relationship would be long and challenging, but they were ready to face it together. Janet decided to stay at home, and she and Joe began the hard journey of rebuilding their relationship. It was not easy. Every day brought new challenges and doubts. Joe went out of his way to show Janet that he was committed to making things right. He cut off all contact with Juliet and focused on being the husband Janet deserved. Juliet, on the other hand, was struggling with her own guilt. She had lost her best friend and felt deep remorse for the pain she had caused. She decided to move to a different part of Lagos, hoping the distance would help her heal and give Janet and Joe the space they needed. One evening, Janet and Joe were sitting on their porch, watching the sunset. Joe turned to Janet, his eyes filled with sincerity. Janet, I know I've hurt you deeply. I want you to know that I will spend the rest of my life making it up to you. You mean everything to me. Janet looked at him, her eyes filled with a mix of love and sadness. Joe, I appreciate your efforts. It's going to take time for me to trust you again, but I am willing to try because I still love you too. Joe nodded, feeling a glimmer of hope. Thank you, Janet. That's all I need. A chance to prove myself to you. As weeks turned into months, Joe and Janet worked on their relationship. They went to counseling, talked openly about their feelings, and tried to rebuild the trust that had been shattered. Joe was patient and understanding, knowing that healing would take time. Meanwhile, Juliet found a small apartment in Ikeja, a busy part of Lagos. She threw herself into her work, trying to distract herself from the pain of losing her best friend. One day, while shopping at the local market, she ran into an old friend from university, Tunde. Juliet, is that you? Tunde asked, his eyes lighting up with surprise. Juliet turned and smiled. Tunde, it's been so long. How have you been? They caught up over coffee, and Juliet found herself opening up to Tunde about everything that had happened. Tunde listened patiently, offering her support and understanding. You've been through a lot, Juliet. It's not going to be easy, but I believe you can heal from this, Tunde said, his voice gentle. Juliet nodded, feeling a bit of hope. Thank you, Tunde. It means a lot to hear that. As months passed, Juliet and Tunde grew closer. They spent time together, and Juliet found herself slowly healing from the pain of her past. Tunde's kindness and support were a balm to her wounded heart. Back in Lekki, Joe and Janet were making progress. They had started to laugh together again and enjoy each other's company. One evening, Joe planned a surprise for Janet. He took her to a beautiful beachside restaurant and arranged for a private dinner under the stars. As they sat down, Janet looked around, surprised and touched by the effort Joe had put into the evening. Joe, this is beautiful. Thank you. Joe took her hand, his eyes filled with love. You deserve the best, Janet. I want to remind you every day how much I love you and how sorry I am for what I've done. Janet smiled, feeling a warmth in her heart. I believe you, Joe. We are getting there, one step at a time. As they enjoyed their dinner, they talked about their future and the dreams they had put on hold. They made plans to travel, to explore new places, and to create new memories together. The night was filled with hope and a renewed sense of love. Meanwhile, Juliet's life was also taking a positive turn. She and Tunde had become close friends, and she found herself smiling more and feeling less burdened by her past. One evening, while walking through a park, Tunde turned to her. Juliet, I know you've been through a lot, but I want you to know that I am here for you. You've become very special to me and I care about you deeply. Juliet felt a flutter in her heart. Tunde, you've been a great friend. I don't know what I would have done without you. Tunde smiled, his eyes warm. Maybe we could be more than friends, Juliet. I care about you a lot and I want to see you happy. Juliet looked at Tunde, her heart filled with gratitude and hope. I would like that, Tunde. Let's take it one step at a time. As the days turned into weeks, Juliet and Tunde's relationship blossomed. They found joy in each other's company and began to build a future together. Back in Lekki, Joe and Janet continued to strengthen their bond. They knew the road ahead would have challenges, but they were committed to facing them together. Their love had been tested, but it had also grown stronger. Months passed and the wounds that once seemed too deep to heal began to mend. Joe and Janet's relationship grew stronger with each passing day. They learned to communicate better, to trust again, and to cherish the love they had almost lost. They traveled to places they had always dreamed of visiting, creating beautiful memories and overshadowed the pain of the past. One sunny afternoon, they found themselves at the same beach where Joe had planned their special dinner months ago. As they walked hand in hand along the shore, Janet turned to Joe, a thoughtful expression on her face. Joe, I've been thinking about everything we've been through, Janet said. It's been a difficult journey, but I believe we are stronger because of it. Joe nodded, squeezing her hand gently. I feel the same way, Janet. We've learned so much about ourselves and each other. I wouldn't trade this growth for anything. Janet smiled, feeling a sense of peace. I am grateful we didn't give up on each other. It would have been easy to walk away, but we choose to fight for our love. Joe kissed her forehead, his heart full of love. And I'll keep fighting for us every day, Janet. You mean everything to me. Meanwhile, Juliet and Tunde's relationship blossomed into a deep, loving partnership. Juliet felt happier and more at peace than she had in a long time. Tunde's support and understanding had been a guiding light in her darkest times. One evening, while sitting in a cozy cafe, Tunde took Juliet's hand. Juliet, you are an amazing person. Despite everything you've been through, you have shown incredible strength and resilience. I am so proud of you. Juliet felt tears of gratitude well up in her eyes. Tunde, you've been my rock. I couldn't have done this without you. You've shown me that I can heal and find happiness again. Tunde smiled warmly. We make a great team, Juliet. I look forward to our future together. As Juliet reflected on her journey, she felt a deep sense of contentment. She had learned valuable lessons about forgiveness, resilience, and the importance of surrounding herself with people who genuinely cared for her. Back in Lekki, Joe and Janet decided to host a small gathering for their closest friends and family. They wanted to celebrate their renewed commitment to each other and the love that had triumphed over adversity. During the gathering, Janet stood up to make a toast to love, forgiveness, and resilience. We've all faced challenges, but it's how we overcome them that defines us. Joe and I have learned that love is worth fighting for, and we are grateful for the support of our friends and family. Joe raised his glass. Here is to new beginning and the strength we find in each other. Thank you all for being a part of our journey. The room filled with applause, and Janet looked around, her heart full. She saw Juliet and Tunde smiling and holding hands, and felt a sense of closure. Despite the pain and betrayal, they had all found their way to healing and happiness. As the evening came to an end, Joe and Janet stood on their porch, watching the stars. Janet leaned against Joe, feeling a profound sense of peace. Joe, we did it. We made it through the storm, Janet said softly. Joe wrapped his arms around her. Yes, we did. And we will continue to weather any storm that come our way. The story of Joe, Janet, and Juliet is a tale of love, betrayal, and redemption. It teaches us several moral lessons. 1. The importance of trust. Trust is the foundation of any relationship. Once broken, it takes time and effort to rebuild. But with commitment and honesty, it is possible to restore trust and even strengthen it. 2. The power of forgiveness. Forgiveness is essential for healing. Holding on to anger and resentment only prolongs the pain. By forgiving others and ourselves, we can move forward and find peace. 3. Resilience in the face of adversity. Life is full of challenges, but it's our resilience that helps us to overcome them. We must be willing to face our problems head on and walk through them with determination and courage. 4. The value of communication. Open and honest communication is key to resolving conflicts and understanding each other's perspectives. By talking openly about our feelings and concerns, we can build stronger and more meaningful connection. 5. The role of support systems. Surrounding ourselves with supportive and understanding people is crucial during tough times. Friends and families provide the love and encouragement we need to heal and grow. 6. Choosing love and commitment. Relationships require effort and commitment. Choosing to walk through difficulties and fight for love shows the depth of our commitment and the strength of our bond. In the end, the story reminds us that love, when nurtured and protected, can overcome even the greatest obstacles. By learning from our mistakes and choosing to grow, we can create a future filled with love, happiness, and fulfillment. We have come to the end of the story. If you love this video, please... Hello everyone, my name is Adaugo and you are watching the African Tales channel by Adaugo. Before we dive into today's video, please kindly click on that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you will be notified whenever I upload a new video. Now let's get into the story. Ikechi's mother-in-law couldn't hide her feelings for her sons-in-law who got married to her daughter Adanne. Ikechi was a young man from the village of Umuaga. He was known for his kindness and hard work. Everyone in the village liked Ikechi. One day, he met Adanne, a beautiful girl from the neighboring village of Umuofia. They fell in love and soon got married. Adanne's mother, Mama Nneka, was very happy that her daughter was getting married to such a good man. But after the wedding, something strange started to happen. Mama Nneka couldn't hide her feelings for Ikechi. She found herself thinking about him all the time. She loved the way he smiled, his gentle voice, and how he treated everyone with respect. One evening, Ikechi was sitting outside his hut, watching the stars. Mama Nneka came to visit. She brought some yam porridge for him. "Ikechi, I made this for you," she said, smiling warmly. "Thank you, Mama Nneka," Ikechi replied, accepting the bowl. He didn't notice the way she looked at him. As days passed, Mama Nneka's feelings grew stronger. She tried to hide them, but it was hard. Whenever she saw Ikechi, her heart skipped a beat. One day, she couldn't hold it in anymore. "Ikechi," she said, "can we talk?" "Of course, Mama Nneka," Ikechi said, sitting down beside her. I have feelings for you," she admitted, looking down at her feet. Ikechi was shocked. He didn't know what to say. "Mama Nneka, you are like a mother to me," he said finally. "I respect you a lot, but I am married to Adanne. I love her." Mama Nneka felt ashamed. She had never meant to cause trouble. "I am sorry, Ikechi," she whispered. "I didn't mean to make things complicated." But things did get complicated. Adanne noticed that her mother was visiting more often. She started to feel uneasy. One day, she saw her mother looking at Ikechi in a way that made her heart pound with fear. "Mother, what is going on?" Adanne asked one night. Mama Nneka looked at her daughter, tears filling her eyes. "I am so sorry, Adanne," she said. "I have been foolish. I let my feelings for Ikechi get out of hand. But I promise I will not come between you two." Adanne felt torn. She loved her mother, but she also loved Ikechi. She didn't know what to do. Ikechi tried to comfort her. "We will get through this," he said. "We are strong together." The news of Mama Nneka's feelings for Ikechi spread through the village. People whispered behind their backs. It was a difficult time for everyone. One day, while Ikechi was working in the fields, a young girl named Chioma came running. "Ikechi, come quick, Adanne is sick," she cried. Ikechi dropped his tools and ran home. He found Adanne lying on the bed, pale and weak. "We need to take her to the healer," Ikechi said. He lifted Adanne in his arms and carried her to the healer's hut. The healer, an old woman named Mama Ozioma, looked at Adanne carefully. She is very ill, Mamozioma said, but I will do my best to help her. Ikechi stayed by Adanne's side, holding her hands. Mama Nneka arrived, tears streaming down her face. "This is all my fault," she sobbed. "If I hadn't caused so much trouble, Adanne would be fine." Ikechi shook his head. "It's not your fault, Mama Nneka. Adanne is strong, she will get better." The days passed slowly. Adanne's condition improved little by little. Ikechi and Mama Nneka took turns caring for her. They worked together, putting aside their differences for Adanne's sake. One night, as Ikechi sat beside Adanne, she opened her eyes. "Ikechi," she whispered, "I had a dream. I saw us happy again." "We will be happy again," Ikechi promised. "I will always be here for you." As Adanne's health continued to improve, Ikechi and Mama Nneka realized they needed to mend their relationship for the family's sake. They worked together to make things right, and in time, the village began to see them as a strong, united family. However, there were still challenges ahead. The journey of healing and rebuilding trust had only just begun. Ikechi, Adanne, and Mama Nneka would face new trials, but with love and determination, they believed they could overcome anything. The story of Ikechi, Adanne, and Mama Nneka was far from over. Their lives were intertwined with love, conflict, and hope, leading them to an uncertain but hopeful future. As Adanne regained her strength, life slowly returned to normal in Umuaga. The whispers in the village quieted down, and the family worked hard to rebuild their trust and unity. One sunny morning, Ikechi decided to take Adanne to a nearby river, a place where they often went when they were courting. The river was a beautiful, serene place with clear water and tall trees providing shade. As they walked hand in hand, Adanne leaned her head on Ikechi's shoulder, feeling safe and loved. "Ikechi, do you remember the first time we came here?" Adanne asked, smiling softly. "Yes, I do," Ikechi replied. "You were so shy, but your laughter filled the air like music. I knew then that I wanted to spend my life with you." They sat by the river, watching the water flow and talking about their dreams for the future. Adanne felt a sense of peace she hadn't felt in a long time. She knew that with Ikechi by her side, they could face any challenge. Meanwhile, back in the village, Mama Nneka was struggling with her feelings. She knew she had to let go of her emotions for Ikechi and focus on being a good mother and mother-in-law. She decided to visit the wise elder, Papa Chidi, for advice. Papa Chidi lived on the outskirts of the village. He was known for his wisdom and ability to solve problems. When Mama Nneka arrived, he welcomed her warmly. "Mama Nneka, what brings you here today?" Papa Chidi asked. "I have come for guidance," Mama Nneka said. "I have feelings for my son-in-law, Ikechi, and it is causing trouble in our family. I need to find a way to let go and make things right." Papa Chidi listened carefully. After a moment of silence, he spoke. "Feelings can be powerful, but they do not have to control us. Focus on the love you have for your daughter and the respect you have for Ikechi. Channel your emotions into helping them build a strong, happy life together. In time, your feelings will fade. Mama Nneka nodded, feeling a sense of relief. Thank you, Papa Chidi. I will do my best. As the weeks passed, Mama Nneka worked hard to follow Papa Chidi's advice. She spent more time with Adanne, helping her with house chores and sharing stories from her own youth. She also made an effort to support Ikechi, offering him encouragement and praise for his hard work. One evening, as they all sat together for dinner, Adanne looked around the table and smiled. I am so grateful for our family, she said. We have been through so much, but we are stronger because of it. Ikechi nodded in agreement. We have come a long way and I believe our future is bright. Just as things were settling down, a new challenge emerged. A wealthy trader named Obinna arrived in Umuaga, seeking to buy land for his expanding business. He was charming and persuasive, and he quickly won the favor of many villagers. One day, Obinna approached Ikechi with an offer. Ikechi, you have a beautiful piece of land by the river. I would like to buy it from you at a generous price. It could change your life. Ikechi was taken aback. He loved the land by the river. It held special memories for him and Adanne. But the money Obinna was offering could provide them with financial security and new opportunities. I need time to think about it, Ikechi said. When he told Adanne about the offer, she was conflicted. I love that land, Ikechi, but I also see the possibilities the money could bring. It is a difficult decision. They decided to seek advice from Mama Nneka and Papa Chidi. That evening, they all gathered around the fire, discussing the pros and cons of selling the land. Papa Chidi listened thoughtfully. Sometimes, the things we hold dear are worth more than money. But other times, change can bring new blessings. You must follow your heart and choose wisely. The decision weighed heavily on Ikechi and Adanne. They knew that whatever they chose, their lives would be forever changed. They spent the next few days reflecting on their options, seeking wisdom in their dreams and in each other's eyes. As they stood by the river one last time before making their decision, Adanne held Ikechi's hand tightly. No matter what we decide, Ikechi, we will face it together. Ikechi nodded, feeling the strength of their bond. They were ready to face the future, whatever it might bring, with love and unity. Ikechi and Adanne spent several sleepless nights discussing Obinna's offer. Their love for the land by the river, with all its memories, weighed heavily on their hearts. But the promise of a secure future was tempting. One morning, as the sun began to rise, Ikechi made up his mind. Adanne, he said softly, I think we should keep the land. It's a part of our story, our love. No amount of money can replace that. Adanne's eyes filled with tears of relief. Ikechi, I feel the same. Let's cherish what we have and trust that we will find other ways to secure our future. They decided to inform Obinna of their decision. When they met with him, Obinna was disappointed but respected their choice. You are brave to follow your heart, he said. If you ever change your mind, my offer still stands. Life in Umaga returned to normal. Ikechi and Adane focused on their farm and their growing family. Adane soon discovered she was expecting their first child, which brought immense joy to everyone, including Mama Nneka. Mama Nneka, seeing the happiness in Ikechi and Adane's life, felt her heart beginning to heal. She was determined to be the best grandmother she could be, pouring all her love and care into the new baby. Months passed, and the day finally came when Adane went into labor. It was a long and difficult process, but with the help of the village midwives, a healthy baby boy was born. They named him Chibueze, meaning God is King. The entire village celebrated the birth of Chibueze. There was singing, dancing, and feasting. Ikechi and Adane were overwhelmed with happiness and gratitude. They knew that their family was blessed. As Chibueze grew, he became the light of Ikechi and Adane's life. Mama Nneka adored him and spent every moment she could with him. The bond between them was strong, and Mama Nneka's past feelings for Ikechi seemed like a distant memory. However, peace was again disrupted when a series of mysterious events began to unfold in Umuaga. Crops were being destroyed, animals went missing, and people reported strange noises at night. The villagers were worried and anxious. One evening, as Ikechi and Adane sat by the fire, discussing the recent events, a knock on their door startled them. It was Obinna, looking troubled. "Ikechi, Adane, I need your help," he said urgently. Obinna explained that he had seen strange figures near the forest, and he believed they were responsible for the troubles in the village. "We need to find out who or what is behind this before it gets worse," he said. Ikechi agreed to help. He gathered a group of brave villagers, including Obinna, and they set off into the forest. Adane stayed behind, worried for Ikechi's safety, but trusting in his courage. As they ventured deeper into the forest, they found signs of an old camp. There were footprints and remnants of foods. Suddenly, they heard rustling in the bushes. They prepared themselves for a confrontation. To their surprise, they found a group of children huddled together, looking frightened and hungry. The children explained that they had run away from a neighboring village due to a terrible famine. They had been stealing food and causing mischief out of desperation. Ikechi's heart went out to the children. "We must help them," he said. "They are not enemies, but victims of unfortunate circumstances." The villagers agreed. They brought the children back to Umuaga, where they were given food, shelter, and care. The village elders met to discuss how to support the neighboring village and prevent such incidents in the future. Obinna, who had initially seemed like an outsider, became a valuable ally. He helped coordinate efforts to provide aid and resources to the famine-stricken village. His business acumen and connections proved to be a great asset. Ikechi and Adane felt proud of their community. They had faced many challenges but always emerged stronger. The bond between them and their fellow villagers grew deeper, rooted in compassion and unity. As life in Umaga settled once more, Ikechi and Adanne knew that their journey was far from over. New challenges and adventures awaited them, but they were ready to face whatever came their way, hand in hand. With the newfound peace in Umaga, the village thrived. The crops flourished, the animals returned, and the village spirits were high. Ikechi and Adanne, along with their young son Chibueze, enjoyed the simple pleasures of village life, surrounded by friends and family. One day, as they were walking in the fields, an unfamiliar group of travelers arrived in Umaga. They carried news of a grand festival in the distant city of Enugu, celebrating the union of various villages and promoting peace and unity. The travelers invited everyone to attend, promising a spectacle of music, dance, and cultural exchange. Ikechi and Adanne were excited by the prospect of visiting Enugu. It would be a chance to experience new things and introduce Chibueze to the wider world. Mama Nneka was also eager to see the festival and meet new people. After discussing it with the elders, the village decided to send a delegation, including Ikechi, Adanne, Chibueze, and Mama Nneka. The journey to Enugu was long and arduous. They traveled through dense forests, crossed rivers, and climbed hills. Along the way, they shared stories and laughter, strengthening their bond. Chibueze, riding on Ikechi's shoulders, marveled at the new sights and sounds. When they finally arrived in Enugu, they were amazed by the city's grandeur. The streets were filled with people from different villages, wearing colorful attire and carrying traditional instruments. The air was alive with music, laughter, and the aroma of delicious foods. The festival was even more magnificent than they had imagined. There were performances of traditional dances, storytelling sessions, and competition of strength and skill. Ikechi and Adanne participated in a dance contest, showcasing the unique dance moves of Umaga. They were met with cheers and applause, making them feel proud of their heritage. As the festival continued, they met many new friends. One of them was a wise old man named Babeze, who had traveled from a distant village. He shared stories of his adventures and imparted wisdom about life and love. Babeze took a particular liking to Chibueze, often sitting with him and teaching him traditional songs and tales. One evening, while sitting around a fire, Babeze shared a story that captured everyone's attention. Many years ago, there was a hidden treasure buried deep within these lands, he began. It is said to possess magical properties, bringing prosperity and happiness to those who find it. However, it is guarded by ancient spirits, and only the pure of heart can retrieve it. Intrigued by the tale, Ikechi, Adanne, and their new friends decided to embark on a quest to find the treasure. They knew it would be dangerous, but the promise of prosperity for their village was too tempting to resist. Mama Nneka, though worried, supported their decision, believing in their strength and unity. The next morning, they set off on their quest, guided by Babeze's knowledge and wisdom. The journey took them through mysterious forests, across treacherous rivers, and up steep mountains. Along the way, they encountered various challenges and obstacles, but their determination and teamwork saw them through. One night, as they camped near an ancient twisted tree, they heard whispers carried by the wind. Babeze explained that they were nearing the treasure's location, but they must remain vigilant and respectful of the spirits guarding it. With renewed resolve, they pressed on. Finally, they reached a hidden cave, its entrance covered by vines and moss. Inside, the air was cool and filled with an eerie glow. They ventured deeper, guided by Babeze's words and their own instincts. At the heart of the cave, they found a stone altar, upon which lay a small ornate box. Ikechi approached the altar, feeling a mixture of excitement and fear. As he reached for the box, a gentle voice echoed through the cave. "Only the pure of heart may take this treasure," it said. Ikechi, with a heart full of love for his family and village, lifted the box carefully. To their astonishment, the box opened to reveal a beautiful glowing gem. The light from the gem filled the cave, casting away the darkness and illuminating their faces with a warm golden glow. Babeze smiled, his eyes twinkling with satisfaction. "You have proven yourself worthy," he said. With the gem in hand, they made their way back to Enugu, and then to Umuaga, where they were greeted as heroes. The gem brought prosperity and happiness to the village, fulfilling the legend's promise. Ikechi and Adanne's love grew even stronger, and Mama Nneka felt a deep sense of peace and fulfillment. Chibueze, now with the wisdom of the elders and the love of his family, looked to the future with bright eyes. The village of Umuaga, united and prosperous, faced each new day with hope and determination. But their story was far from over. The adventures they had experienced were just the beginning, and many more awaited them in the future, bound by love, courage, and the unbreakable bonds of family and community. Life in Umuaga flourished with the newfound prosperity brought by the glowing gem. The villagers worked together to build better homes, improve their farms, and create a school for the children. Ikechi and Adanne played vital roles in these developments, always leading by example with their kindness and dedication. One day, an unexpected visitor arrived in Umuaga. It was Obinna, the wealthy trader. He had heard of the village's transformation and wanted to see it for himself. Impressed by the changes, he approached Ikechi and Adanne with a new proposition. "Ikechi, Adanne, I see the remarkable progress your village has made. I would like to invest in Umuaga, building a marketplace that could bring trade and opportunities to your people," Obinna said. Ikechi and Adanne, with the support of the village elders, agreed to the proposal. The marketplace was built, attracting traders from far and wide. It became a hub of activity, bringing economic growth and new friendships to Umuaga. Despite the success, Ikechi and Adanne remained humble. They continued to work their land and help their neighbors, never forgetting the values that had guided them through their journey. Mama Nneka, now a beloved grandmother to many, shared her wisdom and stories with the younger generations, teaching them the importance of love, respect, and resilience. One evening, as the sun set over the village, Ikechi, Adanne, Chibueze, and Mama Nneka sat together by the river. The water shimmered in the twilight, reflecting the beauty and tranquility of their lives. Papa, Mama, Chibueze said, "Can you tell me the story of the glowing gem again?" Ikechi smiled and began to recount their adventure, emphasizing the lessons they had learned along the way. As the story unfolded, the family reflected on the moral lessons that had shaped their lives. 1. Follow your heart. Ikechi and Adanne's decision to keep their cherished land despite the tempting offer showed the importance of staying true to what matters most. They valued their love and memories over material wealth, leading to their ultimate happiness and prosperity. 2. Unity and compassion. The villagers' support for the runaway children and their collective efforts to help a neighboring village in need demonstrated the power of community and empathy. By working together and showing kindness, they overcame adversity and built a stronger, more unified village. 3. Courage and determination. The quest for the hidden treasure required bravery and perseverance. Ikechi, Adanne, and their companions faced numerous challenges but never gave up. Their courage led them to success and taught them the value of resilience. 4. Respect for wisdom and tradition. Seeking guidance from wise elders like Papa Chidi and Babeze helped them make thoughtful decisions. Respecting the wisdom of those who came before them ensured that they stayed grounded and made choices that benefited everyone. 5. Gratitude and humility. Despite their newfound prosperity, Ikechi and Adanne remained humble and grateful. They continued to work hard and support their community, understanding that true wealth lies in love, family, and the bonds they share. As the story ended, Chibueze looked up at the stars, feeling inspired by his parents' journey. "I hope I can be as brave and kind as you one day," he said. "You already are, my son," Adanne replied, hugging him tightly. "Always remember these lessons and you will make us proud." The family sat in peaceful silence, feeling the warmth of their love and the strength of their unity. The village of Umuaga, with its rich history and bright future, stood as a testament to the power of these moral lessons. And so, Ikechi, Adanne, Chibueze, and Mama Nneka continued their lives with hearts full of love and spirits unbroken, knowing that their story, though ending here, would live on in the values they passed down to future generations. Moral lessons. 1. Follow your heart. Value love and memories over material wealth. 2. Unity and compassion. Work together and show kindness to overcome adversity. 3. Courage and determination. Face challenges with bravery and perseverance. 4. Respect for wisdom and tradition. Seek guidance from elders and respect their wisdom. 5. Gratitude and humility. Stay humble and grateful, understanding that true wealth lies in love and family. We have come to the end of the story. If you love this video, please kindly share with your loved ones, leave us a comment on your opinion, and subscribe for another interesting video like this. Until I see you all on the next one. Bye. Hello everyone. My name is Adaugo and you are watching the African Tales channel by Adaugo. Please, before we dive into today's video, kindly click on that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you will be notified whenever I upload a new video. Now, let's get into the story. Miriam and Jacob lived in Abuja, one of the big cities in Nigeria. One evening, Jacob came home while Miriam and their kids were in the living room watching a movie. He looked worried, like he had seen a ghost. "Kids, it's bedtime," Jacob said quickly. The children protested, but they knew better than to argue with their father when he used that tone. Miriam was puzzled. Jacob never sent the kids to bed this early. "Miriam, I need to talk to you," Jacob said, leading her into their bedroom. He looked so serious that Miriam's heart began to race. What was going on? Jacob knelt down, holding Miriam's hands tightly. "Miriam, I have something terrible to tell you," he started, his voice shaky. Miriam's heart pounded even harder. "What is it, Jacob?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. I made a terrible mistake," Jacob confessed. "I've been unfaithful. Rosemary is pregnant and now she's threatening to ruin our marriage unless I agree to send her abroad." Miriam's mouth fell open. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. Jacob, her loving husband, had cheated on her. "I thought about it," Jacob continued, "but the cost, the money would be better spent on our family. Miriam, I am so sorry. Please forgive me." Miriam's mind was spinning. She knew Rosemary was lying. Jacob was medically impotent, but how could she reveal this truth without destroying everything? The children weren't Jacob's biological kids. These secrets could tear their family apart. Miriam decided to talk to her best friend, Jessica. Maybe she could help. The next day, she met Jessica at their favorite spot in the park. "Jessica, I need your advice," Miriam said, her voice trembling. She told Jessica everything, from Jacob's confession to the secret about the children. Jessica listened carefully, her face serious. "Miriam, this is a tough situation. You need to think about what's best for your family. Maybe you can find a way to talk to Rosemary. Make her understand without revealing Jacob's secrets." "But what if she doesn't listen?" Miriam asked, feeling even more scared. "Then we have to come up with a plan," Jessica said firmly. "You have to protect your family, Miriam." As the days passed, Miriam and Jessica tried to think of a way out. Miriam couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. She was terrified that everything she had built with Jacob could come crashing down. One evening, as Miriam was putting the kids to bed, she heard a knock on the door. Her heart skipped a beat. It was Rosemary. She looked smug, like she knew she held all the power. "I need to talk to Jacob," Rosemary said, pushing past Miriam into the house. Miriam felt a surge of anger. She couldn't let Rosemary destroy her family. "You can't just barge in here," Miriam said, her voice shaking with rage. "You need to leave." Rosemary smirked. "Or what? You'll tell Jacob's secrets? Go ahead. Let's see how that turns out for you." Miriam's blood ran cold. Rosemary knew. She knew about Jacob's condition. How? "I don't know what you're talking about," Miriam said, trying to sound confident. But inside, she was terrified. Rosemary laughed. "Oh, Miriam, You're such a good wife, protecting Jacob like that. But I know the truth. And if you don't do as I say, everyone will know. Miriam felt like she was drowning. She had to protect her family. But how? She needed a plan, and fast. The next day, Miriam met Jessica again. "Jessica, Rosemary knows," Miriam said, her voice shaking. "She knows about Jacob's condition." Jessica looked shocked. "How? Who could have told her?" "I don't know," Miriam said, feeling hopeless. "But we need to do something. I can't let her ruin everything." Jessica thought for a moment. Maybe we can turn the tables on her. Find something she wants even more than a trip abroad. Miriam nodded slowly. But what? What could be more important to her? "We will figure it out," Jessica said, determination in her eyes. "We will protect your family, Miriam, I promise." And so, the two friends began their plan to save Miriam's family. They had to be smart. They had to be careful. But most of all, they had to succeed. The future of Miriam's family depended on it. Miriam and Jessica's plan had to be foolproof. They spent days trying to figure out what could possibly make Rosemary back off. Miriam felt the weight of her secrets pressing down on her every moment. She couldn't let her family fall apart. One afternoon, as Miriam was cleaning up after lunch, she received a call from Jessica. "Miriam, I think I have an idea. Let's meet." Miriam hurried to their usual spot in the park. Jessica was already there, looking excited. "I did some digging," Jessica said. "Rosemary has been talking to a man named Kola. He's known for helping people with, let's say, questionable business deals." Miriam frowned. "What do you mean?" Jessica leaned in closer. "I mean, he might have the kind of information we need to turn the tables on Rosemary. If we can find out what she's really after, we can use it against her." Miriam's heart raced. This could be the break they needed. "How do we get to Kola?" Jessica smiled. "I have a cousin who knows him. I can set up a meeting." Miriam nodded, feeling a glimmer of hope for the first time in days. "Let's do this." A few days later, Miriam and Jessica met with Kola in a small, dimly lit restaurant. Kola was a tall, imposing man with a serious expression. "I hear you need some information," Kola said, getting straight to the point. Miriam took a deep breath. "Yes, we need to know what Rosemary is really after. She's threatening my family." Kola nodded thoughtfully. "Rosemary is ambitious. She's not just after a trip abroad. She wants power, connections. If you can offer her something that gives her more than what she thinks she can get from your husband, she might back off." Miriam's mind raced. What could they offer that would be more valuable to Rosemary than Jacob's money? Suddenly, an idea hit her. What if we offered her a position in a high-profile company? Miriam suggested. Something that gives her the status and connection she craves. Kola smiled. "That could work, but you will need to make it convincing." Jessica chimed in. "I know someone who can help with that. My uncle works in a big company and owes me a favor. We can make it look legitimate." Miriam felt a surge of hope. This could actually work. Let's do it. The next few days were a whirlwind. Jessica's uncle agreed to help, and they put together an offer that would be hard for Rosemary to refuse. Miriam was nervous, but she knew she had to stay strong for her family. Finally, The day came to confront Rosemary. Miriam and Jessica met her in a quiet cafe, away from prying eyes. "Rosemary, we need to talk," Miriam said, trying to keep her voice steady. Rosemary smirked. "What now, Miriam? More empty threats?" Miriam took a deep breath. "We know what you want, Rosemary, and we are prepared to offer you something better." Rosemary raised an eyebrow. "Oh, and what might that be?" Jessica handed Rosemary a folder. "A position in a high-profile company. It comes with a great salary, connections, and a chance to build the life you want. All we ask is that you leave Miriam's family alone." Rosemary's eyes widened as she looked through the documents. This is real?" Miriam nodded. "Yes, it's real. You can have everything you want without destroying my family." Rosemary seemed to consider it for a moment. Finally, she sighed. "Fine, I'll take the job. But if I find out this is a trick, you will regret it." Miriam nodded, relief flooding through her. "It's not a trick. Just leave us alone." As Rosemary left the cafe, Miriam felt a weight lift off her shoulders. They had done it. They had saved her family. But as she and Jessica walked back to the car, Miriam couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't over. Rosemary might have agreed to their terms, but she was still a threat. They had to stay vigilant, protect their secrets, and make sure their family stayed safe. Miriam knew this was just the beginning. She would do whatever it took to keep her family together, no matter what challenges lay ahead. The next few weeks were a mix of relief and tension. Miriam was grateful that Rosemary had accepted their offer, but she couldn't shake the feeling of unease. She knew that Rosemary was unpredictable and could still cause trouble. One evening, as Miriam was preparing dinner, Jacob walked into the kitchen. He looked much better than he had in weeks, the stress lines on his face slowly fading. "Miriam, I don't know how to thank you," he said, wrapping his arms around her. "I don't know what you did, but things seem to be getting better." Miriam smiled, hiding her inner turmoil. "We are a team, Jacob. We handle everything together." Just as she was about to put the finishing touches on dinner, her phone buzzed. It was a message from Jessica. "Urgent. Need to meet. Pack. Now." Miriam's heart skipped a beat. She quickly finished up in the kitchen and made an excuse to Jacob, saying she needed to run an errand. In the park, Jessica was pacing nervously. "Miriam, we have a problem," she said as soon as she saw her friend. "What happened?" Miriam asked, her heart pounding. "Rosemary is stirring up trouble again. She got the job, but now she's using her position to dig up debt on Jacob. She wants more than just the job. She's still looking for leverage." Miriam felt a wave of anger and fear. "Why can't she just leave us alone?" Jessica shook her head. "She's ambitious, Miriam. She won't stop until she gets everything she wants. We need to find a way to neutralize her for good." Miriam thought for a moment. Maybe we can use her own ambition against her. What if we make her think there is a bigger opportunity somewhere far away? Something that will keep her occupied and out of our lives. Jessica nodded slowly. That could work. But how do we make it convincing? Miriam's mind raced. We could create a fake job offer. Something that looks even better than what she has now. If she thinks she has a chance to get something bigger, she'll take it. Jessica smiled. That's brilliant. Let's do it. They spent the next few days crafting a perfect fake job offer. They made it look like it came from a prestigious international company with an impressive salary and perks. Miriam used all her creativity to make the offer irresistible. When they were ready, they arranged for Rosemary to accidentally find the offer. Miriam felt a mix of anxiety and hope as they waited to see what would happen. A week later, Rosemary contacted Miriam. "I don't know what you're playing at, but I've received an offer I can't refuse," she said, her voice dripping with suspicion. "I'll be leaving the country soon, but mark my words, if I find out you had anything to do with this, you will regret it." Miriam felt a wave of relief mixed with dread. "Good luck, Rosemary. I hope you find what you're looking for." As Rosemary left, Miriam allowed herself to breathe a little easier. They had managed to buy some time, but the threat was still there, lurking in the shadows.